has always been the kind of thing that knocked me off my feet. Until you came and picked me up, I never really understood what people meant by wait and see. But now I'm seeing all the things that we could be. Oh, you and me. Tell me why love can't always be this easy.
Got my shoes.
I've spent my whole life second-guessing everything. Now I'm sure
So beautiful.
it's you that I've been waiting for. There may be some days but things don't go exactly how we planned, but I'll always be right there to hold your hand. I promise that I'm gonna love you as long as I can. Oh, with everything I am, just tell me why love can't always be this easy. Time seems to stand still when you're standing near me. I've spent my whole life second guessing everything, but now I'm sure it's you that I've been waiting for.
Now I'm just gonna sit here awkwardly for a few minutes.
All right, everyone take a seat. As we take this seat, let's all take a moment before we start it and take it all in. Eric, you handsome devil. The bridal parties, you all look amazing. Akila, you almost stole the show. Almost. Liv, you look amazing. Truly breathtaking. Welcome everyone to the wedding of Eric and Olivia. Two people who fell in love at the moment they met. Two people who have been together through the ups and downs since that day. Two people who have fought to be here today. Two people who have loved each other unconditionally. Two people who deserve this moment. Two people who deserve each other. And two people who will flourish and grow together from this day forward. My name is Ryan. I'm lucky to count both Eric and Liv as two of my dearest friends. On Valentine's Day this year, Eric texted me and said, "You're gonna marry me and Liv." No pressure. But here we are. If you're wondering if I'm actually a minister, yes, I am. I'll tell the story of how that happened later at the bar, but let's get down to business. Recently, Olivia, Eric, and I had a chance to sit and talk over some old fashions. Now, make no mistake about it, the three of us have sat over drinks and talked many, many times. But this was special. We were talking about this speech, and I wanted to make sure I was able to convey the message they wanted, to tell their story and represent them. But also put my own little twist on it. Most couples 5 days away from their wedding are stressed, tired, busy, and overwhelmed. Not the case for these two. Not that I could see anyway. They had this calm about them. I know they've been busy with planning the wedding, work, and life in general, but they just seemed ready. The conversation flowed so smoothly, we laughed. We talked openly about both families. We talked about everything that would help make this day special. And all I could think was, wow, they're so perfect together. Not that they've ever doubted it, but something about this moment made me really say, wow, it felt right. I actually came home directly that night from that night and began working on this immediately. This couple doesn't need a breakdown from me on love or on family or on marriage. They've been together through thick and thin, and I think it's best that I tell their story. You will see what love, family, and marriage is all about through the story of these two. So I began thinking, how do I tell this story? Well, a natural starting point is, when did I meet my brother Eric? Well, none of us can remember. But I realized the exact date doesn't matter. It may have been Ann's first birthday, but it certainly involved some drinks, some combo of Sonny, Keith, Mel, Chuck, Josh, and Zach. But I do know since then, it's been nothing short of a brotherhood. Once you're in the group text, it's family and it's forever. Sorry, Liv. It's in the rule book. The group chat never dies. But seriously, Eric has always been open-armed and open-hearted towards me and my family. He is Uncle Eric to my 2-foot-tall monster, William. His home is always open to all. He's never once said to me, "Don't touch me." All you MasterChef fans, you guys get that joke. He's an incredible cook, a truly motivated person. It's obvious by the turnout today, he's been a great friend. Drunken nights, ruthless ball breaking. All our family brunches, a couple of White Claws, and good food have always been staples of our friendship. I could tell Eric stories for days, but that's not what an officiant does. Sonny, you could tell more of those later. So in the telling of this love story, I do actually remember the first time I met Liv. My wife Dubs and I met Eric at the bar on the east side. Keith invited us to celebrate Sam's birthday. Myself, Eric, and Dubs were talking. Eric had just recently returned from MasterChef, top 8. And we were prying for info, really pushing against that contract he had with Fox for the details. But he was focused on this Olivia. He told us that he had met a beautiful Southern girl. She loved football, loved to have a good time. She was laid back. She was so kind. Sounds pretty promising, right? Then he said she was a Bulldogs fan. Strike one, Liv. I wasn't happy with this, but then I remembered I married a Seminoles fan. Go Gators. He spoke of her with such passion, but she was working late. And with every passing moment, he kept building her up. Beautiful, smart, fun, cool. We thought, come on, can she even be real? And then finally, after a shift at work, in walked Olivia. She had a Braves hat on. Strike two, Liv. And she exceeded Eric's description. The Southern charm was palpable, and it was obvious to us that we would be attending this wedding in the future. We all talked well into the night, the start of a wonderful friendship. That was Olivia's welcoming to the group chat. Eric's MasterChef premiere would be when she got to meet all the boys in one place. She survived and stayed with Eric after that. She was a keeper. It was obvious to Liv and Eric on that night, they met back in April of 2016, that this wedding would happen as well. Eric was so sure she was the one, he called his mother Jane at 4 a.m. on the walk home from Tanner Smith's after spending the entire night talking to Olivia on an impromptu date. He convinced her to come meet him that night, 2 days before their first official date was scheduled. It was a sushi making class, MasterChef. Luckily for him, she came, and over one drink, they swear, they talked for hours. Sparks were obvious. Sparks are important, love is important, but understanding of what becoming a family is the most important thing I can think of with marriage. And these two have some of the best families you can ask for. We spoke at length about family that night over the old fashions. They both have parents who love each other deeply, wonderful siblings, and they recently became aunt and uncle to beautiful Paisley. But one of the big takeaways of that family talk was Eric's reflection on his beautiful mother, Jane. Gary, Chris, Angie, your praises were sung. But the love was obvious from Eric when speaking about Jane, and it really home with me. The love between a mother and a son is like no other. But this was special. Eric grew up with a father who was a hero. He was Eric's hero. He was New York City's hero. He is a hero to me. He is a hero to many of us here right now. But Eric spoke of Jane also being his hero. For anyone who's met Jane, she's a warm, sweet, beautiful, take no shit woman. Sorry for cursing. For anyone who's met Jane, I'm sorry. She has welcomed all of us on this stage into her home as one of her own. It's not an easy crew to welcome in. She's brought smiles to the faces of many of our children. She's a rock. But she also held Gary and Eric up during the years when Gary had suffered the effects of 9/11. She was Eric's hero, and her selflessness is reflected in Eric. She was not only Eric's rock, she was his shoulder to cry on, and she used those same shoulders to carry the weight of the world on her back and care for her husband and son simultaneously. Raising a teenage boy and caring for a man who suffers the effects of 9/11, that's a hero. All of those qualities reflect in Eric today, and he knows that and knows just how lucky he is. But we all know you can't say Jane without saying Gary. Gary and Jane, like peanut butter and jelly. Gary is a New York City legend, a Warriors fireman, a fireman and a lieutenant amongst the best of the best. Sorry. A notorious nozzle stealer, a hero. And let's be real, he had some of the best hair in the FDNY. Gary has walked the walk. And when he was diagnosed with 9/11 cancer, I'll never forget Eric telling us, it was devastating. It crippled us all. But we all rose up to help the best we could. I'll forever reflect on driving him to his first treatment. He told me stories for hours. I sat with him 90% of that day. The other 10%, I sat in awe waiting for him to come out and continue those stories. The months that followed were very tough on Gary and his family, but in those months, it was beyond clear that Olivia was just that. She was family. Her selflessness and commitment to standing by Eric and his family was incredible, a true testament to this woman's heart. As many of us do know, Gary has continued to suffer the health effects connected to his career and work on 9/11. Eric and Olivia remain rocks and a constant presence. Gary's presence here shows us how strongly he loves you both. And we're all honored to have him here with us today. And we look forward to many, many more days together with Gary. Sorry. He has so many stories to share and so many, many more days to go in that pool. Gary, we love you. But it's obvious in meeting people where they get their influence from. And my conversation with Olivia was so clear. Her big heart, selflessness, and southern charm come from her wonderful parents, Chris and Angie. She spoke so highly of them, and when I was able to meet them, they even exceeded her praise. It was also obvious that they have opened their heart to Eric the same way Gary and Jane have opened their heart to Olivia. They spent vacations together, including the biggest vacation on St. George Island, where Eric gathered the families and Olivia's dear friends, Connor and Anna Kate, to witness his proposal. Chris and Angie's love and grace are also obvious in two small guys to my left, way down the end over there. Olivia's brothers, Brandon and Samuel. Olivia never brought a boyfriend home until Eric. Once he got past Olivia's personal offensive line, he had the task of meeting Chris and Angie. He put their mind at ease as they both shared a common interest, Olivia's happiness. I am beyond honored that these two flew to New York City for their daughter's wedding that's being officiated by some guy named Ryan. I thank you for that honor and that trust. Just don't judge me on my singing and dancing later, please. Those are their families. Those are the influences who taught them what family meant and will guide them as their family grows. Chris and Angie, high school sweethearts, and Gary and Jane, who met on a blind date. That's the original Tinder. Have both done amazing as parents and have truly helped shape these two into the people standing before me, and their influences live in them. I knew family had to be the theme of this ceremony. It's such a defining part of these two. It's what brought them together, and it's what they will become in just a few moments. From Tanner Smiths, to making sushi, to saying I love you, lying together in Liv's twin bed in Spanish Harlem, to getting Aquila, to helping Gary in his fight, to that big family vacation on St. George Island, to the other night when we spoke. These two are ready to become a family. Eric and Olivia have written vows to reach each other, and it's your turn. Eric.
I was going to say ladies first. Olivia, today we make it official. Something I knew we'd do since that first night you walked in the door at Tanner Smith's. I knew I had found my person. The person I've dreamt with and will continue to dream with for all of my days. The person I've been on countless adventures with and will continue to adventure with for all of my days. My partner in crime, my shoulder to cry on, my rock to lean on, my biggest fan and #1 supporter. You've been by my side for some of the best moments of my life and also some of the hardest. When Dad was diagnosed with cancer, I was scared, nervous, and upset, but I also had felt relief that I would have you with me through it all, and everything would be okay. The support you provided me and my parents with is unmeasurable. Because of you, I laugh every day. I smile uncontrollably just at the thought of you. I promise to always be your protector, your provider, your shoulder to lean on, your best friend, your partner, your adventure buddy, your private chef. Pause for laughter. But most of all, your loving husband. I will always listen to you with compassion and understanding. I will help you when you need it and give you your space when you don't. I will always be faithful, loyal, and loving in sickness and health, as I have been and will be for all of our days. Mary Olivia Delhomme, I love you with all of my heart and soul, from now until the end of time.
I have to follow that. Eric, you are the best thing that has ever happened to me. I wrote, why does this paper not have lines? And I left me and I can't write straight. I was a little more guarded and take longer to open up, but with you, you make loving you easy. The first day I met you was the best day ever, and every day since then has been my best day because I've spent it with you. I promise to dream with you, to celebrate with you, to walk beside you through whatever life brings. I promise to support you, push you, and inspire you, and above all, love you. I can't wait to spend all of my days with you. I love you.
I love you, babe.
The rings, please. Eric? Place this ring on Liv's finger and repeat after me. My ring is my promise.
My ring is my promise.
To love you forever.
To love you forever.
And grow our family together.
And grow our family together.
Olivia, place the ring on Eric's finger. Repeat after me. My ring is my promise.
My ring is my promise.
To love you forever.
To love you forever.
And grow our family together.
And grow our family together.
Do you, Eric, take Olivia to be your wife for this moment till forever?
I do.
Do you, Olivia, take Eric to be your husband from this moment till forever?
I do.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege to present to you for the first time ever as man and wife, Eric and Olivia Howard. Yes.
All right. Let's get out of here. Nailed it. Did it. Short, sweet, and to the point.
You got it? That's also you. Thank you.
Good vows.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, that was beautiful, Steve.
Thank you.
Introduce from the bridal party. First off, put your hands together for Hillary and Keith. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Callie and Chris. Put your hands together for Taylor and Sean. Ladies and gentlemen, your best man and man of honor, Sonny and Connor. That's classy, I like that one. All right, guys, if you could all please rise. Let's stand up. Help me in welcoming, guys. The reason we're all here tonight, put your hands together for the very first time, Mr. and Mrs. At this time, Mr. and Mrs. Howard will have their first dance as husband and wife. Every morning when you come downstairs, here's a mess, but I do. Makeup on and shine so bright, and my old sweatshirt never fits so right. Messing around to the radio, humming the words that you don't know, crossing, finding an angel off my bed. Thinking that it don't get no better than this. You make loving you easy. You make loving you all I wanna do. Every little smile, every single touch reminds me just how much you. Oh, I wanna sing again. You make loving you easy. You make love all I wanna do. Every little smile, every single touch reminds me just how much you loving you easy. Congratulations, you two. Thank you for having us, by the way. Super excited to play your songs for you. It did sound awesome, Olivia, if you could stay on the dance floor and invite your father up to play them. Dancing that way, back out with his mother. For the mother sons. It takes a lot to know what it's like. It's not the big things, but the little things that mean enough. A lot of prayers to get me through. There's never a day that passes by that I don't think of you. You were always there for me. Pushing me and guiding me, always to succeed. You showed me when I was young just how to grow. You showed me everything that I should know. You showed me just how to walk without your hands. It's why you always were. You showed me when I was young just how to grow. You showed me everything that I should know. You showed me just how to walk without your hands. It's why you always were perfect fan. Cause Mom, you always were a perfect fan. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Olivia and Eric, their parents, and the bridesmaids, and the groom and the maid of honor, and all of y'all. At this time, if you guys would like to have a seat, we're going to have some food. I suggest you carb up, eat as many calories as you can, because we're going to burn them all on the dance floor later, y'all. Let's go.
If everybody take a seat a second, we're going to get through a few things here and we'll get you some food. My name is Chris DeLong, and I am the father of the bride. So proud. And on behalf of myself and Angie, my wife, and Gary and Jane, I just want to say thank you for coming and sharing this moment with us. We are from the Deep South, and for the most part, this is our contingent right over here. This is my family. I have two sons right here that I'm very proud of. I have another new daughter-in-law, Madison. I have a beautiful, beautiful granddaughter at home that, unfortunately, she's just a few weeks old and you don't get to meet her tonight, but hopefully soon you will. And so thank you so much. It's a very special, special time. Plus the fact that it's just been such a rapid, I feel like I'm going to take an executive privilege for a moment, and even though Ryan stole some of my thunder in his ceremony, this is such an incredible journey on how we got to this point. And what a special couple that this is right here. So grab your champagne and have it handy. We're going to have a toast here in just a moment. But I must say that if you want to know how I feel tonight, if you love movies, and I do, I am Spencer Tracy or Steve Martin from Father of the Bride. Because if you're enjoying yourself tonight, it's all because of my wife and my daughter. Is every time I tried to help out, I was 2 steps behind. I could never catch up. So I was just trying to just hang on, and I'm here and so thankful to be so. I was thinking our journey started here when Olivia was just 8 years old. Her mother took her to Atlanta to the Fox to see Annie. And Olivia came home and told her, she said, that's what I want to do. I want to sing, I want to dance, I want to do theater. I thought, oh, okay. So those of you fathers know what started then. You got the dance classes, you got the ballet, you got the music, you got the voice. You leave the office, you go pick her up, you're taking her back and forth, and then you got boys at baseball practice and this and that. And it was maybe 2 years went by in a blur. And then Olivia says, I want to try out for this part in the Nutcracker in Atlanta, which is, for Atlanta in Christmas time, this is the event the Atlanta Ballet puts on. And I thought, oh God, Angie, you're going to take her down there and waste a whole Sunday for her to try out for that? Damn, she got the part. You know? So I'm further in the hole here. So we progress on, and she's continuing to follow through that. We get through into high school. She never really dates any guys. I'm like, she's just not interested. She's always driven and works so hard at everything that she does and so passionate about it. And those of you that know her know that that's what she is. And that's what this city is getting, And I remember that she said, I think she was 13, and someone had come down to one of her dance classes, said, hey, we're doing, you can try out for a theater dance workshop. It's in New York City, and it's over the summer, a couple of weeks, 3 weeks maybe, I'm not sure. I thought, oh, okay, yeah, go ahead, damn, she got that too. So at 13, we put her on a plane for the first time for New York City by herself. Of course, they have it all worked out and everything, and she flies up here. And I did not know at that moment, but that's really when I started losing my daughter as far as on a day-to-day basis, because she just loved it. And so she goes back again the next summer and the next. We get through, and she has a wonderful part in her theater group at school as a senior. And there's an opportunity to try out for the New York Film Academy. I'm like, okay, right, yeah. Damn, she gets that too. And I'm like, so she's coming up here for 2 years to New York. And Olivia is never afraid of anything. If she's dedicated on something, she is headstrong and she goes at it until she collapses. And she's so passionate about it and works so hard. I'm so proud of her. But she comes up here and she's never been back home. But I keep thinking, she's going to get tired one of these days, and she's going to come back to North Georgia, and she's going to sit down there with me. And Georgia almost covered the spread today. It was 49 points, man. We missed it by Emory. 3 points. 3 points, man. I'm sorry, but, go Dogs. Yeah, so anyway, I'm going to hurry up here because I don't want to steal any of Santino's time. Yeah, okay. So, where was I at? Oh, yeah. She didn't come back. So she's at school here. The first day she meets Connor. And she's like, hey, I met this guy. He's from Ireland. His name is Connor. And I'm like, and we're friends. I said, after one day? Damn, she's already met the guy. And so the years go by and we adopt Connor. Did I do that? He goes on vacation with us, including one memorable beach. If you've heard some things from Ryan about the beach vacations we do the beach vacation, don't we, Jane? Yes, we do. We look like the Beverly Hillbillies going down the road. But Connor will never live down that 4th of July vacation that he took with us down there. It's still, every time we run around the 4th, it's like, Happy 4th! But I still kept thinking, she's still not dating anybody. And then there's this guy. And the first time I see him is on TV on MasterChef. And I'm like, this guy? This is the guy. Because it's like tied in with our beach vacation. She's down there, and the whole time, all she can talk about is this guy. And she tells her mama, same thing, I think this is the guy. And I'm like, oh, God. And he's a fireman. And his dad's a fireman. She'll never come home again. But after all those trips, and the first time that Angie and I came to the city was when she was 13. We came up to pick her up. And after all of this, I realize now it wasn't the theater that was driving her. It wasn't wanting to be on Broadway or anything like that. She loved performing, don't get me wrong. It was the city. And it was all of you. And I thank God that now that we are where we are today, because I wouldn't know any of y'all. And I wouldn't know Gary that walks me down to his firehouse this week. We walked down there one morning where he started out, where he met Jane, where he was working. And I'm like, not only am I allowing Eric to marry her, but I know that it's even a larger family, because I am so proud now that my daughter and even I am part of the New York Fire Department. Because when we're walking down the street in November with Olivia in Hell's Kitchen, the truck goes by and the guy goes, hey, Oliv. I don't know, God, these guys know you by first name. So I'm just so thankful. On the road that we came, it was a long, and don't get me wrong, I miss her. I would text Gary and say, I would know that she was over at the house in Queens, and I'd say, man, I really envy you. Because I got two great sons over here, but this is the daughter that always would come and get up in my lap and give me a hug. And then we would sit and watch football or old movies. I just don't know what else is in store, but it's just been a fantastic ride. And I really, really am so proud of her, and I'm so proud of Eric. So grab your glass and toast with me my daughter and son-in-law. Thank you. Great job.
So once you're done wiping your eyes, now I would like to invite up now Eric's parents. Gary and Jane have a few words to say.
You want me to put it in the stand, or you good? Okay, great.
Is it on? Okay, unlike Chris, I have to read. Okay, so today as we celebrate a new beginning for Eric and Olivia, let me take you back to the other happiest day of my life. On July 16th, 1989, I was blessed with a baby boy who brought joy and love into our lives. He was my miracle child. I had given up hope of ever giving birth when, lo and behold, God had another plan. Thank you, God. Of course, I would have preferred to have done it earlier. Eric, as a little boy, you were always so strong, and when you were sad or in pain, all you needed was Wags by your side. You thought we should move to Disney World, the happiest place on earth, and Dad could get a firefighter job in Orlando. It's the only place you wanted to go on vacation. You were a happy little boy who loved playing with your Playmobil sets, Matchbox cars, fire engines, and Legos. I am so proud of the man you have become. You are kind, compassionate, caring, generous to a fault at times, and loving. So many people you have touched along the way have said, positive things about you. They say your father and I did a great job of raising you. I would like to take the credit, but I always tell them it is what is in your heart, and I believe this is the man you would have become even without us. You have always made us proud. Naturally, you have your flaws, as we all do, procrastination, worrying about the small stuff, and a hard time saying no to people. You can tell the character of a man by the quality of his friends, and you are surrounded by such good friends. I remember well the night you called to tell me you met the girl you were going to marry after spending about 6 hours. See, you stole my thunder too. I love you too, Brian. While talking with her at Tanner Smith's, I thought, okay, hopefully she feels the same way. Olivia, you complete him in so many ways. Thank you for loving him the way a mom wants her child to be loved. You are the best thing to happen to him. I hope your love continues to grow. Eric, you and I have shared so much since 9/11. You gave me the strength to push through because I knew how much you needed someone to be strong. You were a bit of a male chauvinist as young as 2 years old. I think Poppy influenced you way too much. It wasn't until after 9/11 you realized how strong a woman could be. We did it together and formed a special bond that will never be broken. These past few years, too, we have depended on each other, and with Olivia by your side, it gives you the strength you needed. Wags has been replaced by a beautiful, smart, caring young woman. Thank you, Olivia, again, because I know you have dealt with a lot with Eric during this time. You came into his life and ours at just the right time. I wish for you both a lifetime of love and happiness. It fills me with joy to see the love you have for each other, and I hope it continues to flourish and grow. This is my advice. Always be kind to each other. Be patient and respect each other's opinions. Never go to bed angry or without a kiss, no matter how you are feeling. Be there for each other. Be loyal and faithful to each other. Do not let others influence your relationship. It is now and should always be the two of you together, helping each other, supporting each other, loving each other above all else. Do not take each other for granted. Life is short. Marriage can be hard. But if there is enough love and respect for each other, it all works out. Eric, I love you with all my heart and soul, with every fiber of my being. It is what every mother feels for her child. I feel blessed that you and Olivia have found each other. Continue to support each other as you have these past 3 years. May God bless you both on this your wedding day and always.
Thank you. Great. That was amazing. Thank you.
Whatever, I'll just okay, do it.
That was amazing. Thank you, Gary and Jane. And at this time, I would like to invite up, I really have been excited to say this, the man of honor, Connor.
Thank you. So, first of all, I've been told by many people that as a true Irishman, I talk a lot. So I have done my best to cut this down as much as I can. So Anna Kate, I'm looking at you. So first of all, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Connor. I'm Olivia's man of honor. Olivia and I met about 8 years ago. We both moved to New York at the same time. And for those of you in the room that are not native New Yorkers, you know that moving to New York City can be a pretty daunting thing, being so far away from friends and family. So you kind of have to make your own support system pretty much right away. And I think that's what we did, what started as somewhat of an unlikely friendship. I mean, we were quite different. Olivia was so Southern. I mean, like, could have been straight off the set of Sweet Home Alabama Southern. And I was, right off the boat eating potatoes Irish. But somehow we made it work. And as time went on, we became better and better friends. But it only became evident to me the first time that we went down to Georgia together, where she gets it from. Because as most of you know, Olivia truly has one of the biggest, most genuine, kindest hearts out of anybody that I've truly ever met in my life. And I could see that it was a testament to Chris and Angie as to how she was raised, because they too are so incredibly generous and sweet and took me in like an adopted son right after my first visit. And it's Chris touched on, I don't know how many vacations and trips I've been on with them, and every time they've just included me so much. So that is certainly where she gets it from. So fast forward a couple of years, Olivia comes to me and tells me about this guy that she's met. So, as a best friend does, somebody who's protective, and, we've spent all our time together, and I don't know this dude at all. So I'm thinking, like, all right, I mean, who is this guy? I have some questions. So I start talking to her. I'm like, all right, I mean, is he really, let's figure it out. So I remember asking, like, what does he do for a living? And I'm thinking, maybe he's, unemployed. I don't know what is going on. She's like, he's a firefighter. He works for the FDNY. So I was like, oh, so he saves lives. Cool. All right. And then remember thinking, all right, well, what else? Maybe he's, maybe does some weird things on the side. Like, what's his hobbies? Olivia's like, well, he's a chef. He's on MasterChef right now. So I'm like, oh, he's a TV star. I'm like, okay, TV star who saves lives. So then I pretty fast went from being skeptical and thinking, what is this, to being like, girl, you better put a ring on that, like ASAP. Because this dude is legit. And he is legit. And as Eric and I got to know each other more and more, it became super clear to me why Olivia felt so strong about you. Because Eric, too, is one of the most genuine and generous, caring people that I've ever met. I remember one of the first times, we'd only really met a few times, and I get this text from a number I didn't even have, not from Olivia, from Eric, and he's like, hey, what are you doing for Thanksgiving? And I'm like, well, nothing. He's like, you want to come to my parents' house? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I come over and meet Jane and Gary, and they too, like Chris and Angie, took me in like open arms, and I guess I just became the random adopted son that shows up at all these family events. But it, again, just highlighted the fact of why Olivia felt so strongly about you, because you truly are so caring and so sweet, and you guys are just so great together. So without going on too long, I just want you both to know how much I love and care for both of you, and how happy I am for both of you. So if everyone could raise their glass to Olivia and Eric, sláinte.
Nicely done, Salanche. So now we have one more person that has some words to say to follow everybody up. No pressure or anything. Eric's best man, Sonny!
Oh, thanks for making me blast, because those weren't all great speeches or anything. All right, so I got a lot of notes here. We got a lot of stuff to get through. All right, hello everyone. Thank you for coming out tonight. Celebrate with us. I'm Sonny. I am honored to be Eric's best man. Just want to start by saying thank you to some of the folks here tonight. Olivia's parents, Chris and Angie, thank you for making the trip up here to New York. We in raising such a wonderful woman that makes my friend so happy. We couldn't be more excited to now have extended family down in Georgia. Eric's parents, Jane and Gary, for being the family in New York I never had. You have taken myself, my wife Donna Marie, and our 3 children in as one of your own. And I could never tell you how much that has meant to me. Jane, you are, I'm not gonna cry. Jane, you are a second mom to me. And Gary, you are an inspiration to us all, especially us young firefighters that aspire to be just a fraction of what you were as a fireman. The bride and groom. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your special day. Olivia, you look beautiful. And Eric, you look all right. Thank you both for all the hard work you've put in to make today happen. It is all truly perfect. Much like Olivia has spent countless hours preparing for this day, I have spent countless hours scouring the internet for a best man speech to steal. Sadly, there are no Queens, Boston, Manhattan EMT partners turned firefighters that have posted something online yet. So with that, yeah, right? I met Eric 10 years ago in the EMS Academy. I was fresh out of the military, and Eric was fresh out of a short stint at Adelphi. Shortly after that, Eric and I were both assigned to the same EMS station, made partners, along with Keith. And honestly, I never dreaded the day on that ambulance. The city sure was stupid for letting us go off on our own, running amok in Manhattan at 21 and 22 years old. Even though that time felt slow, it flew by. If you know Eric like some of us do, then you may know about some of the phases he has gone through over the years. Get ready. We all got to experience Kappa Sigma frat boy Eric, DJ E-Rec. Yeah, that was real. That actually happened. H3 Hummer Eric, the E-Zoo phase, some really aggressive impulse buys like a Camaro that was totally undrivable 3 months out of the year, big spender Eric, buying bottles and seafood towers in Boston, Proby School Eric, 4 truck guys, close your ears, who had his heart set on going to the Bronx. Yes, he was going to the Bronx, just ask him. Then we got Manhattan Eric when he got an apartment on 42nd Street. Quickly followed by marathon runner Eric. And now we're Master Chef Eric. That was quite a shock considering my former roommate didn't cook all that much when we lived together. I guess those guys on 8th Avenue really did teach him a thing or two. Eric and I were roommates more than once before you moved off to Manhattan, first in Whitestone with our landlords, Jane and Gary. Yeah, I lived there too. And then in Astoria. We spent almost every night out in the city, mostly wherever Joey was bartending, or at the local dives and cafes on 30th Ave. But like all great things, it had to come to an end. We were on our way to becoming firefighters. Proby School was just around the corner, and we had to break the news to him. 1, you're gonna be a godfather. And 2, you gotta find somewhere to live, because, bro, there's a baby coming. Eric earned being a godfather to our son, Anthony. He was there when I was working to take Donna to the hospital more than once. He's been an incredible role model to our boys, and he's someone who is truly my brother. Eric, you're one of the most passionate people I know. If you give Olivia even just some of your passion, she will never lack the love or attention she deserves. Mary. All right, who here didn't know Olivia is Mary? Like, after hearing much about Eric's new flame, Olivia, I finally got to meet her at the MasterChef viewing party. We didn't get to talk much that night. but we knew Eric was into her. Over the following months and years, we really got to know and love Olivia. Olivia is the person that you want your son to marry. She is genuine, beautiful, always there, and she is family. We saw exactly why Eric was in love with her. She fit right in with us ever since. All 3 of our kids light up when they get to see Auntie Olivia. I can't imagine a better fit for our high-strung New Yorker, a calm, cool Southern girl that keeps him grounded and tells him like it is. Thank God. Eric and everyone, raise your glasses to my best friend and my new sister. Take this.
Thank you, Sonny. All right, y'all, like I said, eat up. We're gonna have a dance party in a minute.
Floated off of the ground tonight. The way you looked at me just like I'm yours. Yeah, I never felt like this before. You make me feel the way I ain't feel in a minute. I feel like I'm living when I'm looking at you, baby. Never felt like this before. You gave me butterflies in my tummy like you do. You just give me love and like I can only get from you. Tell me like you do. You do. You do. You do. I need a night. I need the love.